Alright, so did a little bit of drilling, had to find some extra parts, but these little poles here fixed have the platform fixed. So this is permanently mounted, with cotter pins underneath both sides, easily attainable to grab from the edge, and then that way when the platform opens up, this goes with it. However, I mounted these a little bit longer, so now I have a platform to mount one more kayak. So I'll have one here and one there, which is perfect because my cousin's husband, Dewey, thank you, appreciate that. I'm getting a couple extra kayaks from him, so what'll probably happen is my little 8-footer that's pretty light will probably go up there, and then I can fit a 10-footer here, I can fit a 10-footer there, and then my kayak can go there. I could probably mount one more kayak on this side along here if I wanted. Don't really know if I want to do that or not. Kind of want to have this clean, so yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't really know yet, but yeah, got the poles all mounted up, so they have pins for each one of them, so there'll be a pole for each one on each end and then one in the middle, and it's going to go, editor, pull up a picture of it laid out. So it'll have 3 poles along the edge here, and they'll be pinned in these little nubs here. So I don't really know where the holes are at yet, but when I open this up, I'll drill the hole. That way I can pin it exactly where I need to pin it. The holes at the bottom down there, eventually I'm going to drill extra holes in the foot here, like maybe an inch down and an inch up, so that way if I need to raise or lower the pad, I can, uneven ground or whatever the case may be. What else? Oh, I moved the paddle holder mount. It was here in the middle along that unistrut. Didn't really like that, so I moved it to the side, welded on extra little pads there, and now it's directly mounted to this, where before it had like a little extension. It was kind of wobbly. This time it's pretty securely mounted. Buddy on Facebook said these look like gun mounts. Probably, but they're paddle mounts for this case. So, getting another step done. So I'm working on the steps right now. So I've got a nice 4.5, 5-inch foot, 4.5, 5-inch by 16. We'll cut them nice and straight, round them over, have a nice edge on them. I think I talked about that earlier. And then I've got the angle pieces already cut out. So if you imagine, that's one side of the ladder, and then this will go right up about like that. We'll have a nice carriage bolt, We'll go through, bolt it from the bottom, and that way I can weld it along the top, weld it along the bottom, and I think that's going to work. I don't know if I want to do it that way or if I want to do it like this, where the wood goes like that. I don't know if that would be any better. Kind of like the way this looks better. I think it looks cleaner. So I don't know. We'll see. I got to figure out the mechanism and how all that's going to work, but it's a work in progress, one step at a time. Third step being glued up. That's step number 4. I think I only need 4 steps. I've got material for 2 more steps if I need it. Don't really know if I'll need it, so we'll see. And lastly, so I've got a little bit of sheet metal left from my come up here. Got a little bit of sheet metal left from my toolbox build sitting on my trailer back there. You probably can't see. So I don't know where it got cut off. The camera messed up there. I was mentioning I'll just double back here. So I had some extra sheet metal from my toolbox project, and I think I'm going to go ahead and make wheel well covers for the trailer here. Right now I've got these kind of wing style covers. They work okay, but they were kind of a temporary fix just to kind of protect the kayak until I had something more permanent. I think I'm going to do just a piece of angle coming up flat and then coming down, and then have like a little tab on each end where I can bolt it. It'll be same width from here all the way over, so it'll cover this whole tire area. This whole tire area here. I don't think I'm going to put any covers on the inside or the outside, just because I think that's a little too much. I don't think it's necessary. Just a cover is all that I need. But that's a project I can work on later. Doesn't have to be done right now. So I mean, these little covers work for now and get me by. So the next step I'm working on is getting this ladder situated here. I've got started on welding the pivot point. Basically just a steel rod or steel tube, doing a cutout on that square tubing. So I'm just taking a piece of cut off, stick it on there, measure it out, grind it so it'll fit in there like that. And the idea is it's going to mount up right under here, so that it can hinge out. It's going to be a lot kind of figuring all that out, but yeah, have to figure it out. I've got I'm trying to remember where I left off at, but I've got these posts here welded in, pinned, so it secures the tent platform. The other thing I started working on, if you notice, the mud flaps, or what do you call them, wheel wells, are gone. They're missing. So I took them off and went on ahead and cut some sheet metal out. Used riv nut, put in some riv nuts in the wheel well area, welded up some nuts and bolts to make a bolt essentially. So I took a nut, welded on piece of all thread, and made my own. Do what you can with what you got, pretty much. But out here I've got paint, a nice coat of paint for the wheel well, so my nice safety orange. I gotta do probably one more coat because it's kind of bleeding through just a little bit. Got a little bit of runs, but whatever, it's no big deal. I think I'm going to take some sandpaper, I'll rough it up a little bit, and then do another coat so it sticks real nicely to it. What else? Waiting on getting some money set aside, and it's on a different project, but get some money set aside. I'm going to get me 3 new tires for my flatbed back there, sitting on blocks, waiting to get tires. Once I'm done with the paint, back to this project, once I'm done with the paint on this one, I'm going to flip it around. I got some bed liner material I'm going to put bed liner material, I think, on the underside. It's going to be facing the tire. I think that should hold up pretty well. Better than the spray-on bed liner, like the undercoating or whatever they call it. You get at Harbor Freight. I think this stuff will hold up a little better. Brush it on, put a nice thick coat on it. Basically just protect it from rock chips and stuff like that. Nothing special. So yeah, that's about where we are. I get to working on getting this ladder kind of pieced together, and then yeah, just I don't know. I don't really know how I'm going to do this until I actually just start piecing it together. So we'll see how it goes. Alright, so we're back at it here, and I'm working on the ladder that's going to be swinging out for the tent on my trailer. I've got my steps made, and I went on ahead and test fitted the mechanism that's going to slide. So as you can see, this is the hinged part that's going to be on the top. Here, look at it this way. So this would be like looking at the ladder if it's hanging from the top down. This piece will slide down a little bit. Yes, it does suck in a little bit there at the top, and I believe it is because of the brackets. It could have been welding, the heat twisting them a little bit, but I think it's just the wood and the brackets. So what I'm going to end up doing is flipping these around so the mounting points are on the inside, and then spread it out a little bit so that whenever I hang it up here, it'll swing out from this point and will come out. I've got an idea of a mechanism that I'm going to put some tabs here and here, and as the ladder comes out, I'm going to make some hinge points that will swing down and lock in to make the ladder nice and rigid. Back up a little bit here. So I've got my wheel well covers on. They're bolted in, all good to go. They've got some bed liner material underneath it. Just regular old brush on bed liner I got at the hardware store. Actually went on pretty well. I'm impressed by it. I like it well enough that I may just use that instead of the spray-on bed liner. As you can see, that is spray-on bed liner, and this stuff, I've tried scratching it. I only did one layer with a brush, just a cheap little chip brush, and it's thick enough. They say you can put it back, or you can put another layer on it after you let it dry. You can put 2 layers, or 3 or 4 or 5. For this application, I'm just doing 1, nothing fancy, but I like it enough that I think I'm just going to keep using it. As you might have caught previously, these wheel well covers, they touch my bunks, so I had to raise either one end or both ends, and I decided to go for one end. So I raised the front on this side for the Kayak. I just did a metal spacer, longer bolt, still using the nylock nuts, and then I used carriage bolts. I don't know if you can see in there. I use carriage bolts because this piece slides in and out, so it needs to have like a rounded over surface on it. The reason I used metal on this one and plastic on this one, metal spacers and plastic spacers, this is a heavier Kayak, but it's also what I had. So this side I decided to raise it in the back. I used plastic spacers, again same thing. So I got carriage bolts with nylock nuts. Actually I used the same nuts as before, but I just got longer bolts. This side's off the wheel well just a little bit more, but it's off of it. That's the point. So I've stood on these and they don't flex. I mean, these are 4-inch PVC Schedule 80. They don't flex. So if it wears a little bit, no big deal. But after I get the ladder done, I'm going to come back around once I get the ladder mounted, I'm going to come back around and touch up paint on some of these areas where it just got scratched and stuff. I'm considering maybe painting these pockets with that bed liner. It's black. It's not shiny or gloss, so I don't know if it's going to look any different. I mean, I will have to sand down the pockets. I've only got 3 on this side and 3 on that side, but if I sand them down and then paint them, I just want to give it the best chance possible of sticking. So, just thinking of areas where I can use that bed liner, that might be walked on a lot or high traffic or something like that. I'm also considering making some more of these stake pockets to put up here. Just imagine again, the ladder is going to go kind of above the wheel well, mainly because whenever I load and unload this kayak in particular, when this runner goes all the way out, I have a rope that goes in the kayak, and I like to stand right here to pull the kayak up onto the ramp, essentially. So if I put the ladder right there, it doesn't give me the option to do that. So if anything, I'm going to put the ladder between these 2 stake pockets, maybe favoring the back. There's going to be a jack point there and a jack point there, so it'll be a nice firm platform. I am going to get rid of these. I'm going to redo this. I'm going to use this piping I use. I think it's like 1.25 inch pipe. It has a little bit more of a gap, but it's a lot stronger. It's a lot thicker. This is just trampoline material. I mounted it up just temporarily. I was in a hurry, but I think I'm going to weld it with something just a little more stronger. And then in the same time, I think I'm going to put stake pockets. Going back to that, the reason being, if I put stake pockets up here, I can put storage totes and containers and things like that on this when I don't have a kayak. So if you look at it from the front, I've got that much storage space that's essentially unused. Imagine the tent's folded up with 2 queen mattresses in there, essentially folded up, tied down, covered. As you can see, that point and that point is going to be to mount a kayak. That's what those are, and then essentially the exact same thing will go here. So I can have a kayak here, and then I can have a kayak there, and then I'll even have a kayak laying straight flat down on that side. But if I'm not carrying a kayak, I can use this for storage. Well, if I have storage containers, like these or totes or something, I need a way of tying them down. And I love using stake pockets. So if I put them on this side, I need to figure out a way of putting something on this side. I don't really know that yet, so still working on it. But yeah, and then I mounted another paddle holder. Basically just welded a simple piece of strap, and then I had these mounts here. I had them mounted on my Toyota. Took it off. A lot of the stuff I say not a lot, but some of the stuff that I've used on the Toyota, I had it mounted here. I'm going to be taking off and using. Toyota is still going to be used for camping and stuff, but it just works better on this vehicle, on this trailer. So as you can see, I've got this paddle for this kayak, and then 2 paddle holders over here, and then a kayak will go there, and then I can mount 2 on the top. So, but again, still working on kind of figuring all that out. Eventually this kayak trailer is going to hold 5 kayaks, so I need a place to put at least 2 more kayak paddles. And I mean, they're easy to store somewhere, so I mean, I can figure something out, whatever it ends up being. I can put a mounting point up here, or put it underneath, or whatever. So, but yeah, it's coming along. what I'm working on right now is I've got the brackets cut and drilled for my carriage bolts that get mounted on for those steps. What I'm doing is just clamping it down so I got a nice reference point. I can just drill straight through, cinch the bolts down, and then I'm going to use this as a guide. I'll slide them in between, weld it up, or tack weld it, then unbolt it and then re-weld everything together so it's nice and stiff and firm. Got them all cut and sanded. I gotta sand them a little bit more, but that step is just a tad bit longer because it's at the bottom, and then these are in probably 1/4, 3/8 of an inch or so. So these 3 steps will be just a tad bit shorter than that one. But yeah, stay tuned for the rest. Alright, so it's been a bit, a little bit of time has passed. Done quite a bit here, quite a few updates to catch up on. So first one is kind of have 2 or 3 different projects going on here at the same time. First one's going to be this, just a piece of square tubing, about 20 inches long, got a big old thick piece of angle iron and a pad. You might look at that and go, what the heck is that for? I've got 2 of them. Here's the other one. One on the left is a little cleaned up. The one on the right is not. So, what is it for? Come around here. So I've got the trailer set up in the back to kind of set up the electrical, the lights, the tent platform, all the other pieces I'm missing. I'll cover that here in a second. So this hooks on just like that. Got another one that's going to go right there, and I'm going to make these brackets that will lock on, and I'll have a nice little table platform that will be right here for camping. Table pops off, brackets come off, and these go into storage. So that's the first one. Next update, I don't know if I've covered this yet or not, but as you can see, I have some steps that are going to be used for going up and down. This bottom step slides in and out of this tubing and is pinned. It's got a hole and a hole and it's pinned, and then as it swings in, it pins right here so it's locked permanently. And then here is the brace that holds the ladder rigid. Let's see if I can do this. Actually, here. Try to set you guys up a little bit, kind of show, as best as I can, how rigid it is. So it moves a little bit, but I don't have it pinned in yet. But that's all the swinging that it does. Yeah, so it slid out because I didn't have it pinned. Here's the pins right there. Moving up a little bit, I've got some brackets that are kind of welded on here. These are going to be lights. There's going to be a light under here, and another one. This is going to be red, red, and white. It'll be on a separate switch. So at night, when you're camping and you got to get up into the bathroom or something, and you don't want to blind everybody out, you'll turn red lights on, and it should light up either side of the ladder. And then when you're camping and you just get set up or whatever, you can turn on a white light and it'll light up the steps. Let's see, coming around to this side over here, I started welding up some expanded metal. I went on ahead and picked up 2 more sheets today. So I've got a sheet that's going to go here, I got a sheet that's going to go here. That'll finish the tent platform. I have a tent right there. It is about 6 inches too long this way, but it is long enough that way that's going to work out just fine. got to do a little figuring out how I'm going to make it work for how I want to make it work. So another project I'm working on is, let's come back over here. So as you can see, I've got these struts which help to assist opening and closing this, but you can kind of see the platform comes out and then it kind of comes down and then back up. To fix that, because if you push on that, it does go up and down. To make that a little more rigid, what I've got is I'm going to put a brace here that will lock in. You'll slide it in and it will lock this platform to this platform in one solid piece. I'm going to have one there, and I'm going to have another one. Where's the other one? Oh, the other one's right there. I got it marked out. I don't have it cut yet. These angle pieces, angle brackets, they're going to go on the side, because the brace is going to come out and stop right about here, and these braces will get put in so it'll hold on to the tail end of that, make it nice and rigid. Again, just the idea being that it's going to lock this platform to that platform in one solid piece. I've got these legs that I've made up for a little while. Still need to do a little bit more work on them, but I've got them pinned, and of course right now in my backyard it slopes up towards me, which is why it's looking the way it's looking. But I've got the plugs here. Just some finishing touches. I need to put a little plug on the top of there and plug on the bottom there, so that way it doesn't fill up with water. Same for these. Put a little plate so it plugs it. Just little things like that. I need to finish welding that up. Just little things like that. I think that's oh yeah, one other thing I added, and I've got one, I'll do the rest of it when I do this panel, but on the underneath side here I've got a little puck right there, and if you look up there I got another one. What that's going to be is a surface mounted light. I got a little plug there for the wire, but it'll light the front and the back of this slot, and I'll have a light for here and there. So when I flip a switch, it'll light up this whole underside of the kayak trailer nice and bright. This trailer can have quite a bit of light on it. Just I'm kind of a fanatic for that. So let's come up here. This is that table. It's a piece of oak, 1.25 inches thick. I think it's about 8 inches, 7.5, 8 inches wide. So it's about 16 inches by 3 feet. So it'll be a nice board to put stuff on, serve food, cook on, whatever the case may be. Yeah, it'd be kind of cool. Up here, I've got the other two pucks for those lights that are going to go on the trailer. I've got a piece of plate steel there, which you might be wondering what that's for. That's going to be for this ammo can. Open this real quick. Alright, so I painted it. If you haven't figured it out yet, my accent colors, or my colors of choice for the trailer, are orange and black. So, ammo can, it's got a hole in the front for a USB plug. I've got brackets there. So basically, that plate goes in there about like that. I'll have screws on it. Let's see if I can. There we go. So that'll go in there like that. I'm going to have a bank of switches and 2 more USB plugs in there. You can plug, charge in your phone, whatever the case may be. I've got bed liner material here, bed liner material there. This is painted just black, the outside's orange, and then the underside is bed liner as well. It is going to be bolted to the trailer. My rule of thumb is anything bolted to the trailer gets painted orange, anything welded gets painted black. So I'll drill a couple holes in the bottom of the ammo can, get a long bolt, and then this, just a simple plate with a nut welded on it, will go on the underside, and then bolt through it, tighten it down, real simple and easy. Nothing to it. There's the two sheets of expanded metal I got. So that's going to be going on here shortly. So yeah, I think that about catches you up for what I got done so far. I got some more scrap metal for more of the trailer, just to do different things. Alright guys, it has been a hot minute since I've done an update on the kayak trailer. I've been busy working on a remodel for a rental that we have, so most of my time's been working on getting that done, which actually I'm almost done with that. But some of the things I've done here, so I've got pretty much all the electrical for the trailer done, all the lights and everything. I got to do just a little bit of cleanup, but just to kind of run you through. In the toolbox, I've got a 100 amp hour AMG battery under there. I've got a fuse block, a distribution brick, and a fuse with a MIDI fuse that runs to the back for the, what do you call it, ammo can back there. So basically I've got a battery on and off switch here. With that, I turn it on, and then of course it powers everything, and then I have lights. Actually, I'll just editor cue the video. Quick video here. So you open up the toolbox and you flip on the battery breaker and switches come on. You flip on the last one, turns on lights for the kayaks. Turn on the second one, it turns on a light in the back, loading and unloading kayaks. Turn on the next one, light for the kitchen. There'll be a table that hangs off the side there. And then the last one, lights underneath the tent platform. Then come around to the back where I have an ammo can with 3 extra switches. 2 of them are used. One of them is black light, nighttime setting, lights on the top, and lights on the ladder rack. Turn those off, and then turn the other ones on, and white lights to see more. And that's all she wrote. I'll get a better video, put it up on my channel later. But until then, y'all take it easy. I posted on Facebook about this. So I've got lights that run underneath, a light that runs in the back, a light that runs over here that will be a little kitchen, and then I've got lights that run underneath this. And then in the ammo can, come around here, I'll show you. In the ammo can, I have lights that run the top deck here. So I've got nighttime lights, and then just kind of your regular white lights scattered throughout, as well as on the ladder I've got red light or nighttime light and just a regular daylight. And then in the middle of the trailer I've got a chaseway that has all the wires that run to the back for everything. Also on this ammo can I've got a USB charging port. Another thing I had to add was the flip part of the trailer is pretty heavy, and trying to lift that directly was just too much. So I ended up getting a pulley, or actually a couple of pulleys and some rope, and I can pretty much just pull this up and down repeatedly without any issues. I've got some brackets that I made they're wet right now, but they clamp on to here and they kind of swing down, and they have a hook that latches onto this that I welded on. And basically, as this thing folds up, that arm swings and catches and holds this at a 90-degree angle, so that when it flips, it stays at a 90-degree angle, because what it will usually do is that, because these shocks are constantly pushing out. So as I fold it up, the latches will catch, hold it, and then it can swing down. And then on the deck, I've got pins that hold it mechanically in place. And that seems to work pretty well. With this extra weight that I've got on here with the mesh and this flip top, we ended up going to the lake about a week ago, and this thing runs very, very nice. I've got 3 leaf springs on it right now. I was thinking about taking it down to 2, but the 3 leaf springs, I think, make it just perfect. I probably still have another maybe 50 pounds of gear that will go on here. I've got a toy box here that's going to go right up here. It's going to sit in this little area. I've got toolboxes that will go here and here that will hold the pads, hold a jack, the 2 jack stands back there, as well as the tent. Now the tent doesn't weigh that much, but that is weight. So there'll be a little bit more extra weight that's going to go on this, but I think in the end it's going to be just perfect. So, but anyway, yeah. Oh yeah, so then as well as of course, if you notice, the trailer sits sitting about 6 inches below the driveway right now, so that's why it's kind of at an angle. But when it's straight across, I've got these locking bars here, and what they do is they slide in to these slots right here, and they go all the way. They slide in and go all the way through, which will make this little piece and this long piece flat, and it locks it in place. Makes it real stable and secure, and then just slides right out, and then put it in storage. That's kind of an afterthought that I had to come up with, but turned out all right, and it works pretty good. What else? I ended up making some different fender covers. I found it before. I think they were a little wing style. They mounted here on the side, just came up at an angle. I ended up coming up with these. I just had a sheet, folded it, riveted it on, and they're working pretty good right now. So we're going to stick with that. We call it bed liner underneath it, kind of protected. So works really nicely, well, pretty protected. What else? I think that's about it. On the ladder, I ended up using mineral oil. So these steps look pretty dark, but they're oak. They've got waterproof gluing on them, Type Bond 3, and they've got mineral oil like soaked in it. I need to do the same for this table. So these little wing arms here, they get mounted on here, and they come down and come down, and then there's a little platform that comes out, which will be what that sits on. But I need to protect that just so it can kind of be out in the elements and not check or crack or split. But otherwise, it is coming along pretty darn nicely. So I'll try to get another video out for you guys. Otherwise, until next time, you guys take it easy.